But I had an understanding with him that he wouldn't be doing this. He said he's going to India to build plants. I said, that's okay to go to India, but you're not going to sell into here without tariffs.
Well, let's speak to Edward Anderson, professor at the University of Texas McCombs School of Business, a supply chain expert. Thanks for coming on the program.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So what do you think the impact of these latest words by Donald Trump will be?
Well, just to back up for a moment. Traditionally, the U.S. administration for the past 10, 20, 30 years has wanted to keep tariff rates relatively low. However, there's been a school of thought in both the Democratic and Republican parties that those really low tariff rates are making it more attractive to produce outside the United States than it otherwise would be, and hence is responsible for a lot of the offshoring of American production capacity over that same period. Now, the Trump administration wants to bring that back in, and hence, as part of that, that's why they want to raise tariff rates. Now, the effect on business is really profound, because what this involves is supply chain management, in the sense that you have to determine, based on how these tariffs adjust, where you want your products produced, whether it be in India or China or Malaysia or back in the United States or Mexico, for example, because all these countries will have different tariff rates. But the kicker is that the supply chain manager not only has to worry about where the products are going to be produced, but also each of the components that goes into that product and the subcomponents that go into those subcomponents, all the way down to the raw materials. So it's a profoundly difficult problem to solve.
So could you make an iPhone in the US?
End assembly for sure. All those components and subcomponents, almost certainly not. In fact, there's probably no one country in the world that you could actually do that in.
So even if the assembly was moved back to the US and large parts of the operation were moved back to the US, there would still be import tariffs on the ingredients, as it were, the component parts.
Yeah, certainly some of them would be. There's very few products in this world that are actually made totally in one country outside of the agricultural sector. So yes, that would be true. So
given that, what will big companies like Apple be actually looking at now?
Well, what they're going to look at is, okay, if we have an increase in tariffs in various parts of the world, in some parts of the world, it's going to be cheaper to produce a given component, or it may only be available in a different part of the world. And so that all has to be balanced off versus the tariffs. And also, there's complexities like shipping costs and so on. But the net effect is that as these tariffs change, the supply chains will have to be reconfigured, and inevitably more of that value add will be moved into the United States.
I see. Edward Anderson, thank you very much for explaining that to us. Thank you.